The Galactic Council had seen many strange things in its 10,000 years of existence, but nothing quite prepared them for humanity's latest display of what they called sibling rivalry. Eleanor Chen stood on the observation deck of the Meridian Station. Her arms crossed as she watched another supply shuttle dock, the third one today. She knew exactly what was happening, and her lips curved into a determined smile. "Your sister has requisitioned the entire botanical garden for tomorrow evening," said Crix, the station's Valkyrie administrator, his crystalline face flickering with confusion. "She claims it's for a birthday celebration?" "Of course she did," Eleanor muttered, already pulling up her communication terminal. Her fingers flew across the holographic interface as she began making calls to every favor she'd accumulated in her 3 years as a xenobiologist aboard the station. If her sister thought she could outgift her this year, she had another thing coming. The subject of this cosmic competition was George Martinez, a human engineer who had arrived at Meridian Station 6 months ago. What the alien crew didn't understand, what they couldn't understand, was that George wasn't just any human. He was the foster brother who had shown up at the Chen household when Eleanor was 12. Scared and alone after losing his parents in a shuttle accident, he was the kid who had sat with Eleanor through her worst nights, who had celebrated every small victory like it was the end of a war. And now, both Eleanor and her biological sister Maya had made it their annual mission to give George the best birthday possible. Maya had started early this year. On the first day of George's birthday week, a human tradition the aliens found baffling. She had arranged for a live concert from a famous Earth musician, broadcasted directly to George's quarters. The entire station had heard the music, and George had emerged from his room with tears in his eyes. Eleanor had countered the next day with a custom-built gravity engine prototype that George had been dreaming about for years. She'd pulled strings, called in favors from engineers across 3 sectors, and even convinced a Thorin shipwright to work overtime. When George saw it, he'd actually dropped to his knees. "I don't understand," said Lieutenant Voss, the Ketheri security officer who had become friends with the humans. His reptilian features creased in genuine bewilderment. "Why do your sisters compete to celebrate you? Is this some form of dominance display?" George laughed, checking the readings on his new prototype. "Not dominance, Voss. Love. Weird. Competitive. Slightly insane love." By day 3, Maya had transformed the station's cafeteria into an exact replica of their childhood home's dining room, complete with Earth food that must have cost her a year's salary to import. She'd even gotten their foster parents to record video messages that played on the walls. George had cried again. Eleanor's response on day 4 was equally devastating. She had compiled every holovid, every photo, every scrap of memory from George's parents that still existed in Earth's databases. She'd spent months tracking down relatives, old friends, anyone who had known them. She presented it all in a beautiful quantum storage device shaped like a star. The alien crew watched in fascination and growing concern. As the 2 human sisters escalated their competition, resources were being diverted. Favors were being called in from across the sector. The station's rumor network buzzed with speculation about what would come next. "Should we intervene?" asked Crix nervously. "The amount of energy and resources being expended." "No," said Captain Thole, the ancient Valkyrie who had seen more of human behavior than most. "Watch, learn. This is important." Day 5 brought Maya's masterstroke. She had arranged for George to speak with the crew of the Aurora, the deep space exploration vessel he'd dreamed of joining since he was a child. Not just speak, they'd offered him a position. His dream job. Starting next month. Eleanor had looked stricken when she heard. How could she top that? But she was Eleanor Chen, and she never backed down from a challenge. On day 6, she did something unexpected. She threw a party, but not for George. For Maya. The botanical garden was indeed reserved, but Eleanor had transformed it into a celebration of sisterhood. Every plant was from Earth, representing a moment the 3 of them had shared. The centerpiece was a holographic display showing Maya and Eleanor as children, fighting over who got to give George the first birthday present after he joined their family. "I can't beat the Aurora offer," Eleanor told Maya in front of everyone. "And I don't want to, because the best gift I can give George is making sure he knows that no matter where he goes, he'll always have family." Both of us, together. Maya's eyes welled up. You absolute cheater. Making me cry is a low blow. I learned from the best, Eleanor grinned. On day 7, George's actual birthday, the sisters presented their final gift together. It was simple, a modified quantum communicator that would keep the three of them connected, no matter where in the galaxy they traveled. Maya had designed the interface. Eleanor had built the relay network. Together, they'd ensured that distance would never separate their family again. George stood between his sisters, one arm around each of them, and looked at the assembled alien crew who had witnessed this entire spectacle. I know you don't get it, he said. Humans are weird about family. We fight, we compete, we drive each other crazy. But that's because we care so damn much it hurts. These two, he pulled his sisters closer. They've spent a week trying to outlove each other. And somehow, I'm the one who wins. Captain Thole stepped forward, his ancient eyes gleaming with something that might have been understanding. Perhaps we have been thinking about this incorrectly. This is not competition. This is cooperation disguised as rivalry. Very human, very. Beautiful. Eleanor and Maya exchanged glances and burst out laughing. Next year, Maya said. I'm starting in January. Bring it on, Eleanor replied. George just smiled. He'd never felt more loved in his entire life. And across the galaxy, the story spread of the two human sisters who turned love into a competition and proved that sometimes the best way to show you care is to try to outdo each other in spectacular fashion. That was humanity. Excessive, emotional, and absolutely unstoppable when it came to the people they loved.